2020 paper confirms that it's not just African populations that have most genetic diversity. It is the Kun people who have the greatest amount of genetic diversity. So this is taken from this paper published in the Molecular Biology and Evolution, published in 2020. And basically, this is the best way in which we can represent genetic diversity in our species. There is the Kun people here, then there's other Africans, and then there's non-Africans. And so that encompasses all human genetic diversity in our species. This is what science says about the distribution of human genetic diversity. 94% of all human genetic diversity is shared when you're not looking at the protein but at the DNA level. So this is what science says. Now, this is what some taxonomies say about the distribution of human diversity. People are green or yellow, or people are short or tall, or people are A, B, C, or D. Which folk taxonomy is right? Which one should we choose? And I actually wanted to share with you a really interesting situation that happened to me in the year 2016, because in 2016 I went through 3 miraculous racial transformations. And they were, I started my year in the US where I am a Hispanic. Then in the summer, I went back to my beloved home country, Costa Rica, and in Costa Rica, I am a Costa Rican. Then I came back to the USA where I again became a Hispanic. In December, I went to India to do wonderful field. And in India, I am white. Then I came back to the US and I became a Hispanic. So my question to the audience is, which one of these folk taxonomies is right? Because they are folk taxonomies. Anthropologists, biologists have failed miserably at finding the number of races because there are no human races, because humans share most genetic diversity. The problem is with the framework of mind that anthropologists have had until recently, looking for a number of races that don't exist. We anthropologists might be using the word race to mean racialized groups that have been marginalized, but I'm asking you, can we be sure that doctors, medical examiners, and sergeant major police officers mean the same? And I wanted to share with you the following intake form from a clinic. Ethnicity or race. Here they're comparing African Americans, which is an admixed group from the US, with Caucasians, which is a racialized view and a racist from the 1800s. A Caucasoid view comes from the 1800s. This means nothing but a race from the point of view of the 1800s. How is this? And then Asian? This is an entire continent. How is this comparable with a clearly admixed group found in the US where American is implied, not the continent, but one country? How are these comparable? And I'm not going to discuss Hispanic. My question is, if we use the word race, are we sure that doctors are using it in the same way that we are using it? Why do biological anthropologists study human variation? Because if you think about it, humans don't vary. So what is it that we want to study human variation for? Because by looking at the consequences of racism, by looking at the transmission of ill health across generation, is one of the best ways of understanding human diversity. Because for many of us, health is political. And moreover, we can actually quantify this statement. Not only have we quantified the lack of diversity in humans, and we have repudiated the validity of any concept of biological race, we still wish to understand why humans vary. And what is really cool is to focus on this 5 to 15% of genetic diversity by which humans vary.